So again, guys, good afternoon. Welcome to week 3. We are currently in the ethical considerations in information technology. So when we talk about ethical consideration in information technology, these are the set of principles, guidelines, and values wherein every individuals and organization should adhere, when making decisions related to the use, development, and management of information technology. These considerations address the potential impacts of technology on individuals, society, and the environment. So, with these topics, we have three subtopics, which includes the ethical frameworks and principles, privacy and security in the digital age, and of course, cybersecurity and cyber ethics. So, here are the key ethical considerations in information technology. One here is privacy. So, respecting individuals' right to control their personal information and ensuring that data is collected, used, and stored securely and transparently. Say, for example, in our social media platforms like Facebook, gathering users' personal data for targeted advertising. No? This particular social media platforms, they make use of our personal data for targeted advertising. And this is where they make money. This is considered important because users should have control over their personal information and how it is used, ensuring our privacy is respected. Another concern or key ethical considerations in information technology is security. Taking measures to protect digital systems, networks, and data from unauthorized access, breaches, and cybersecurity threats that could harm individuals or organizations. So, by implementing strong encryptions, say for example, for online banking transactions, so security is crucial to prevent any unauthorized access, data breaches, and financial losses. Another key considerations is all about accuracy and reliability, ensuring that digital information, content, and software are accurate, reliable, and free from intentional manipulation or misinformation. So, ensuring that, say, for example, in our medical information, so ensuring that medical information shared on health related website is accurate and evidence based. So, accuracy is essential to prevent misinformation and ensure that people make informed decision about their health. Hindi yung gawa-gawa na, no? Misinformation. Next, intellectual property. Respecting intellectual property, respecting copyright, patents, and trademarks. These are the three key points when we talk about intellectual property. Respecting the copyright, the patents, and the trademarks. and not using other intellectual property without proper authorization or attribution. Say, for example, using images or text from a copyrighted website without permission, would that be acceptable? No. Respecting intellectual property rights ensures fair compensation for creators and encourages innovation. Next is all about transparency. Being open and transparent about how technology works, how it is used, what data is collected, and how it will be used to protect, to build trust with users and stakeholders. Say, for example, in our social media platforms, most likely our social media platforms are providing clear information about how user data is collected and used for targeted advertising. And with this, transparency builds trust and empower users to make informed decisions about their online activities. However, when we are using our social media accounts, we are just agreeing the terms and conditions when we are creating our accounts. That is why, definitely, you are not familiar what you are agreeing on because definitely your main purpose there is just to create the account. You're not even reading the YOLA, the end user license agreement. And that's the problem for most of us. The next key points is all about inclusivity and accessibility, ensuring that digital products, services, and platforms are accessible to individuals with disabilities and that technology does not exclude or discriminate against any group. So, for example, developing websites with alternative text or images just to accommodate visually impaired users. So, inclusivity ensures that technology is accessible to everyone, regardless of disabilities. Another thing is all about digital divide. This is what I had discussed last meeting. Working to bridge the gap in technology access and skills between different socioeconomic groups, region, and demographics. So say for example, providing free or affordable internet access in the underserved rural areas. So bridging the digital divide ensures that all individuals, that all our constituents have equal opportunities to access and benefit from this technology. Another key points is all about environmental impact. Considering the environmental effects of technology such as energy consumption, electronic waste, and carbon emissions, and striving, no, for sustainable practices. So, say for example, designing energy efficient data centers for the purpose of reducing carbon emissions. So, again, minimizing the environmental impact of technology helps address climate change and promotes sustainable practices. Of course, we have to consider also social responsibility. We have to recognize the potential social consequences of technology and taking steps to mitigate negative impacts such as job displacement or maybe an erosion of privacy. So in this case, we have to ensure that automation and any artificial intelligence technologies do not lead to job displacement without proper retraining and support for affected workers. So, social responsibility involves considering the broader societal impacts of technology. Another key points is all about ethical use of AI and automation, like Chat GPT nowadays. Using AI or artificial intelligence and automation in ways that are ethical, unbiased, and respectful of human rights, while minimizing risk of algorithmic bias and discrimination. That would be okay. So say, for example, employing AI for unbiased recruitment by removing gender-biased language from job description. So ethical AI use prevents discrimination and promotes fairness. Another key consideration is all about the responsible innovation. Considering the broader implications of technological innovation, such as the potential for unintended consequence or misuse, and addressing them proactively, like testing autonomous vehicles to prevent accidents caused by any software glitches. So, responsible innovation considers potential risk and unintended consequence. Another key ethical considerations in IT is all about digital manipulation and misinformation. So we have to see to it that we have to avoid the creation, distribution, or amplification of any digital content that is false, misleading, or intended to deceive. For example, avoiding the spread of false news or fake news on social media platforms to prevent misinformation from influencing public opinion. This upholds the integrity of digital content. However, whether we like it or not, some of the social media users are not that keen to look into whether that particular information is fake news or not. So as users, as responsible users, it is our responsibility to verify whether the news that is circulating is based on facts and not based on false, misleading information. So, with that, this upholds the integrity of digital content. If you have discovered any false or fake news, it would be possible that you have to report it in the social media community. No? Next key point is all about cultural sensitivity. So being aware of cultural differences and ensuring that technology does not perpetuate stereotypes or disrespect cultural values. So developing translation tools that respect and accurately convey the nuances of different languages and cultures. So with cultural sensitivity, it prevents the perpetuation of stereotypes and misunderstandings. And then economic consideration. Balancing economic interest with ethical considerations, avoiding exploitative practices, and ensuring fair compensation for technological contributions. And say, for example, ensuring fair wages and safe working conditions for workers. Workers in, say, for example, manufacturing electronic devices. So, with economic consideration, it involves treating workers ethically in a technology supply chain. Then, last is all about accountability, taking responsibility for the outcomes of technology decisions and actions, and being willing to rectify mistakes or unintended negative consequences. That is accountability. These ethical considerations guide individuals, organizations, and policymakers in making responsible and morally sound decisions within the realm of information technology. So, for example, taking responsibility for data breaches and promptly informing affected users, as well as implementing measures to prevent future breaches. This is accountability. Accountability ensures that those responsible are held liable for their actions. So let's move on topic one, which is all about the ethical frameworks and principles. Our learning objective here is to define ethical frameworks and principles in the context of information technology. Identify and explain different ethical theories such as utilitarianism, deontological ethics, and virtue ethics. Analyze how ethical frameworks guide decision making in information technology scenarios. Evaluate the application of ethical principles in real IT world situations and discuss the concepts of ethical relativism, relativism and its implication for ethical decision making in the global context. So, the ethical considerations So the ethical frameworks and principles in the context of information technology. So when we say ethical frameworks and principles, it provides us a structured approach for making morally sound decision in information technology. These frameworks offer guidelines that help individuals and organizations navigate complex situations where ethical considerations are crucial. For example, a software development team is debating whether to release a product despite knowing it contains a security vulnerability. So ethical frameworks can help them decide whether the potential benefits of releasing the product outweigh the risk of potential breaches. So here are the different ethical theories such as utilitarian, utilitar, utilitarianism, utilitari, utilitarianism, deontological ethics, and virtue ethics. So when we say utilitarianism, it emphasizes maximizing overall happiness. Deontological ethics focuses on following rules and duties, while virtue ethics it centers around cultivating good character traits. So say for example, a company developing an AI-driven hiring tool faces an ethical dilemma due to algorithmic bias. So, utilitarianism would consider the overall impact on candidates' opportunities. Deontological ethics might focus on treating all candidates fairly, and virtue ethics would emphasize creating a tool that reflects the virtues of fairness and equality. So, how ethical frameworks guide decision making in information technology scenarios? By the way, when we talk about ethical frameworks, it provides a structured approach to analyze complex situations, helping decision makers weigh different ethical considerations and potential outcomes. So, say for example, when social media platforms is faced with deciding how to handle user data, they can use ethical frameworks to determine whether data should be shared with advertisers, how transparency should be maintained, and what level of control users should have over their data. Another thing is all about the applications of ethical principles in real world IT situations. So ethical principles are applied to real world IT scenarios to ensure that decisions are aligned with ethical values and considerations. So example, in the development of autonomous vehicles, ethical principles guide decisions about how the vehicles should prioritize safety in potential accident scenarios. ensuring that ethical considerations are integrated into the technology's decision-making algorithms. So when we talk about ethical relativism and its implication for ethical decision-making in the global context, by the way, ethical relativism acknowledges that ethical standards can vary across culture and societies. So understanding this concept is important when navigating ethical decisions in a diverse global context. So say for example, a global e-commerce platform needs to decide on acceptable advertising practices, considering varying cultural norms around content appropriateness and potential offense in different regions. So next topic is all about privacy and security in the digital age. So if you have questions, just type now your questions in our chat box so that I could answer it later. Our learning objective in this topic is to describe the significance of privacy and security in the digital age, explain the concept of data privacy and its relevance in collecting, storing, and using personal information, analyze the ethical challenges posed by data breaches and unauthorized access to personal data, discuss the ethical considerations related to surveillance, tracking, and monitoring in the digital environment, and evaluate the impact of regulations such as the GDPR and CCPA on data privacy and user rights. So, in the digital age, our personal data is constantly collected and stored, making privacy and security crucial for safeguarding individuals' rights and preventing data breaches. Privacy and security are the utmost importance in the digital age due to the widespread collection, storage, and transmission of personal data. Ensuring privacy and security maintains trust in digital interactions, protects individuals from identity theft, and prevents unauthorized access to sensitive information. For example, in our healthcare organization, so our healthcare organization must ensure that patients' medical records are secured, stored, and accessed only by an authorized, rather, authorized personnel to protect patients' sensitive information. So we have to see to it that we have a strong social media profile policy. In the digital age, social media platforms holds a wealth of personal information. And securing these profiles with a strong password and two-factor authentication is very significant. This example highlights the importance of safeguarding personal data from unauthorized access, maintaining individual privacy in a digital landscape. Another thing is on collecting of data privacy and its relevance of collecting, storing, and using personal information. Data privacy involves controlling access to personal information and ensuring that data is used only for its intended purpose. So, data privacy refers to the control individuals have over their personal information. It involves giving users the choice of what is or what data is collected, how it is stored, and how it is used. And this concept is relevant as it empowers individuals to make informed decisions about their data. So, say for example, in our social media platforms, most of them are adhering the data privacy regulations by obtaining measures, by obtaining users' consent to collect and use their personal information or personal data and allowing them to control their privacy settings. So we should have this consent for data collection. When a mobile app requests permission to access your camera or contacts, so it is seeking your data. And the concept of data privacy means you have the right to grant or deny access. Ensuring that your personal information is not used without your knowledge. This example demonstrates the importance of informed consent in data collection. Next is analyze the ethical challenges posed by data breaches and unauthorized access to personal data. So when we say data breaches and unauthorized access, they can held, no? Or they can lead to identity theft, financial loss, and privacy. Data breaches and unauthorized access can lead to identity theft, financial loss, and privacy obligations, highlighting the ethical responsibilities of organization to protect users' data. So, data breaches and unauthorized access pose significant ethical challenges as they can lead to identity theft, financial loss, and privacy violations. So, organizations have a critical responsibility to protect their data. So, say for example, in a retail company suffering a data breach, must notify affected customers promptly, take steps to ensure the breach, and provide support to migrate potential harm. So, say for example, in this case, Equifax data breach Equifax, Equifax data breach in 2017. So Equifax, a credit recording motivity. So Equifax, our credit reporting agency, suffered a massive data breach exposing personal information of 143 million people. And this breach had ethical implications, revealing the need for organizations to, to prioritize cybersecurity to prevent the companies of sensitive data. So objective 4, discuss the ethical considerations related to surveillance, tracking, and monitoring in the digital environment. By the way, when we talk about surveillance and tracking, it raised concerns about individuals' privacy and potential misuse of collected data. The digital age enables extensive surveillance and tracking of online activities. So, ethical considerations arise due to potential invasions of privacy, as well as the risk of data being used for malicious purposes. So say for example, in the government surveillance programs, it monitor citizens' online activities, raise ethical concerns about the balance between national security and individual privacy. So say for example, the government surveillance programs are very useful, while intended for national security, can also can infringe on citizens' privacy rights. The ethical questions here is how we strike a balance between protecting citizens and safeguarding their privacy, highlighting the importance of ensuring that surveillance practices are justified and accountable. So when we talk about the impact of regulations such as the GDPR and CCPA on data privacy and security rights and user rights, enhancing user rights and organizational accountability. So regulations like the General Data Privacy Regulation and the Consumer Privacy Act or CCPA are designed to enhance data privacy, provide individuals with more control over their data, and hold organizations accountable for data handling. So example, the General Data Protection Regulation requires companies to obtain explicit consent from EU citizens, not just for EU citizens, but for almost for the whole world. No? Before collecting data, giving individuals more control over their personal information. So the General Data Protection Regulations applies to businesses worldwide if they process EU citizens. And these regulations has made businesses reassess their data collection and usage practices to ensure compliance. The GDPR showcases the significance of regulatory frameworks in promoting data privacy and user rights on the global scale. So in summary, privacy and security are paramount in the digital age due to the extensive use of technology. And data privacy ensures that individuals have control over information, while ethical considerations guide responsible data handling. Ethical challenges, surveillance concerns, and regulation underscore the need for responsible and transparent data practices in the digital environment. So move on topic 3. This is topic 3, which is all about cybersecurity and cyber ethics. So we have 5 learning objectives, describe the significance of privacy and security in the digital age, explain the concept of data privacy and its relevance to collecting, storing, and using personal information, analyze the ethical challenges posed by data breaches and unauthorized access to personal data. Fourth, discuss the ethical considerations related to surveillance, tracking, and monitoring in the digital environment, and evaluate the impact of regulations such as GDPR and CCPA on data privacy and user rights. So cybersecurity involves protecting digital systems and data from cyber threats. While we are going to talk about cyber ethics, it addresses the ethical considerations surrounding digital technology use. So cybersecurity refers to the practice of protecting digital systems, networks, and data from cyber threats, while cyber ethics involve understanding the ethical implications of digital technology use and ensuring responsible behavior in cyberspace. Both of it are crucial in maintaining trust, privacy, and security in the digital realm. So, as an example, when we say cybersecurity, it prevents unauthorized access to online banking accounts, now safeguarding individuals' financial information, while cyber ethics ensures that individuals use technology responsibly and ethically. So say for example, in an online banking security, when you access your bank account online, cybersecurity measures protect your financial data from being intercepted by malicious actors, while cyber ethics ensure responsible behavior by users, such as not sharing password to prevent unauthorized access. And this example illustrates how both cybersecurity and cyber ethics work together to ensure the safe to ensure safe digital transactions. So when we say responsible disclosure, it involves finding a balance between alerting the public to vulnerabilities and giving organizations time to address them. So responsible disclosure involves reporting security vulnerabilities to the appropriate parties before they can be exploited maliciously. An ethical dilemma arises when deciding whether to disclose vulnerabilities publicly, potentially exposing users to risk, or privately giving organization time to fix the issue. So as an example, an ethical hacker discovers a security flaw in a widely used software application. So they must decide whether to disclose the vulnerability to the software vendor privately or publicly considering the potential risk. So in this case, we do have public versus private disclosure. Na? So as an example for this, so we have to imagine a security researchers discover a vulnerability in a widely used software application, as what I have mentioned a while ago. So disclosing it publicly could alert potential attackers, but private disclosure might not ensure a timely fix. And this dilemma highlights the balance between immediate risk and the need for immediate solutions, showcasing the ethical complexity of responsible disclosure. So the role of ethical hacking in identifying and addressing security weaknesses. When we say ethical hackers, or also known as white hat hackers, so magkakaiba yan. So ethical hackers are also known as white hat hackers. They use their knowledge and skills to uncover vulnerabilities and improve system security. So this ethical hacking or penetration testing involves simulating cyber attacks to identify vulnerabilities in digital systems. So ethical hackers play a crucial role in uncovering weaknesses before malicious actors can exploit them. So for example, ethical hackers may be hired by organization to conduct penetration testing, which would identify weak points in their cyber security infrastructure. So this example underscores the proactive approach of ethical hacking in bolstering digital security. And then considerations in intellectual property protection and digital manipulation and cybercrime. So ethical considerations, definitely hindi napipigilan yan. No? Ethical considerations arise in protecting digital content, preventing manipulation, and addressing cyber criminal activities. So ethical consideration in this context involve respecting IP rights, preventing manipulation and disinformation in the digital realm, and addressing the ethical complexities of cybercrime. So say for example, copyright infringement involves unethical use of intellectual property, such as copying software without authorization. So using copyrighted content without permission constitutes an ethical violation of intellectual property rights. And this example demonstrates the importance of respecting creators' work and encourages the responsible use of digital content. And then the ethical implications of using AI and automation in the context of cybersecurity. So the use of AI and automation in cybersecurity presents ethical challenges related to accountability, fairness, and unintended consequences. So AI and automation nowadays are increasingly used in cybersecurity to identify threats, manage incidents, and make quick decisions. The ethical implications include concerns about accountability, transparency, and bias in AI algorithms. So say for example, an AI-powered security systems that incorrectly identifies innocent individuals as potential threats highlights the importance of ethical AI development and deployment. So another example is an AI-powered decision making. So consider an AI system that autonomously decides whether to block or allow network traffic based on patterns. If these systems make a biased decision or lack transparency, ethical concerns arise about the potential negative impact on users or systems. And this example highlights the need to ensure ethical AI design and implementation in cybersecurity. So, cybersecurity and cyber ethics are definitely integral to the digital realm's integrity and security. Responsible disclosure, ethical hacking, intellectual property protection, digital manipulation considerations, and AI and ethical AI use are all crucial aspects of maintaining ethical behavior and safeguarding digital environments. And so to summarize these topics, exploring ethical consideration in information technology reveals the critical role we play in shaping our digital landscape. So by understanding and applying ethical frameworks and principles, we establish a foundation for responsible decision making that respects diverse perspectives and values. The significance of privacy and security in the digital age cannot be overstated. They safeguard our personal autonomy and protect us from potential harms arising the breaches and unauthorized access. Cybersecurity and cyber ethics intersect to ensure the integrity of our digital interactions. Ethical hacking emerges as a proactive approach to identify vulnerabilities, reinforcing the importance of both security measures and responsible behavior. Moreover, the digital realm presents a unique terrain for ethical dilemmas, from responsible disclosure of vulnerabilities to addressing intellectual property protection and emerging concerns like AI-driven cyber security. As technology continues to shape our lives, it is imperative that we remain vigilant in upholding ethical considerations. These considerations serve as a compass guiding our actions, promoting accountability, transparency, and the well-being of individuals and the society as a whole. So by embracing these ethical principles and frameworks, we can harness the power of technology while upholding the values that define our ethical responsibilities in the digital age. So with that, thank you very much for listening, for watching. God bless us all.